A lot of the best computer designs of all time came about during the 2000s and early 2010s. This PowerBook G4, released in 2003, is a great example. The all-aluminium body with that perfect keyboard laid out across the entire width of the palm rest is timeless in the eyes of many. But what can computers like this, too new to be vintage collector's items but too old to be daily drivers in modern operating systems, be used for at the moment? Well, the first thing that springs to mind is something that I can benefit greatly from, but I'm willing to bet a lot of you watching could too. Whether I'm working on a video script or other assignments for work outside of YouTube, I'm a terrible procrastinator. Writing on an older laptop like my PowerBook G4 has been a really refreshing way to tune out all of the distractions modern operating systems can potentially bombard you with. When I write on my M1 MacBook, I often find myself distracted by YouTube, watching a stream of videos that only ends when I can summon the willpower to return to the task at hand. Older computers are often pretty far from able to run YouTube smoothly, and you can forget running any modern games. They always have the essentials though. I can write and properly format a text document on all of my old computers. If I wanted to, I could go out to a park with just my 17-inch 2010 MacBook Pro and have nothing else to think about but my work. The screen is excellent on that machine, and bigger than any laptop Apple has made in the last decade, but it's not able to run modern macOS very well. It has a weak 2-core Intel CPU and a very slow graphics card compared to today's machines. This 2010 MacBook Pro is capable of connecting to the internet to do some basic research, but more than that and you start to notice the slowdown compared to a modern computer. People often overlook the power of having a second device purely for the task of writing, but in some cases it can be a real asset to your productivity. Just as a quick example, all of the scripts for my videos I write on this 2010 MacBook Pro. You just can't beat its form factor, I feel like, even with a modern Mac. Alright, so another really interesting use for older computers, PowerBooks included, is running games and software that were originally built for such hardware. For example, Call of Duty 2 from 2005 holds a place dear to my heart. It was one of the first shooters I played, despite it being a good few years old at that point. Call of Duty 2 was built for 32-bit machines, whereas macOS versions past 2018's Mojave are 64-bit only. My classic Mac Pro can run macOS back to Lion from 2010, which means running 32-bit games is no problem. Something similar goes on with even older Macs. Macs from 1994 to 2006 ran on PowerPC CPUs, a completely different architecture to Intel, which came later. No Intel Mac past 2009 can run apps made for PowerPC CPUs on macOS. The only way to access these older apps and games is via emulation, really. But on a PowerPC computer like this one, it's easy to go back to that old software that time almost forgot. These older Macs give their owners a window back into the time period from which they come, be it playing Call of Duty 2 like it's 2005 or Escape from Monkey Island from back in 2001. If you were around to play those titles when they were new, there's a brilliant level of nostalgia playing them on their original hardware can bring back. If you haven't played them before, then you're getting to experience a huge selection of games entirely new to you. It's a win-win situation. The same applies to some productivity software actually. Some people swear that Apple Works is the best software they've ever used and wish they still could. Apple Works was a creative suite which included things like spreadsheet tools and a word processor, all made by Apple themselves. Older PowerPC and Intel machines are capable of running the suite natively, and some tools like that really don't exist anymore in the modern world. So we went over the 2010 MacBook Pro with its 17-inch screen, high enough quality not to look out of place on a modern machine. A lot of older laptops with decent displays can make really good film and TV media stations. You can save the content of DVDs straight onto your device's hard drive with software like Wondershare and DVD Fab. Honestly, with its fast built-in optical drive, the 2010 17-inch makes a dream machine for this sort of thing. If you have a way to download media off the web, and you know, there most certainly are ways, you can skip the DVD part and start to build up a really nice array of content you can watch whenever and wherever you like. Streaming subscriptions like Netflix and Disney Plus are probably costing you at least $100 a year, so why not ditch your reliance on such companies and take it into your own hands? Most laptops can be plugged into screens anyway if you need something bigger and higher quality. The main things to look out for are storage space, having fast USB ports, and a decent Wi-Fi card. Probably one of the most perfect machines for this would be a 2012 unibody MacBook Pro. They have replaceable storage with enough space for 2 internal drives. They have USB 3.0 for fast file transfers, and they even have an optical drive for fast DVD burning. If you'd like to watch a film somewhere but don't want the laptop with you, plug in a USB drive and put the content in your pocket. Right, those 3 are perhaps the most appealing ideas for reusing older Macs, but what else is possible? Well, it might be a bit cliche at this point, but making a framed art piece of machines like these can turn out super nicely. Imagine the satisfaction you might feel from taking apart every single part inside the computer that served you for so long and then giving it a little space on your wall. Time consuming, of course, but some of the most gratifying things in life are. I can't say I've ever made one myself, but there are some really inspiring examples online. Another idea might be to make a music station. Laptops often have slightly better audio chips than on phones, and playing music via a cabled connection is no doubt always better than Bluetooth. Keeping your old Mac next to your speakers means that you can play high quality music whenever. Make sure you have your favourite albums downloaded locally so that you don't lose quality or stability by streaming. Apple's Audio MIDI Setup application is included with all versions of macOS, and it's actually really useful when it comes to customizing your own surround sound setup with multiple speakers. Audio MIDI Setup is capable of quite a lot actually. I'd recommend you give it a go no matter what your speaker setup is. A lot of people sleep on it considering it's included on all versions of macOS. Just food for thought here, but if you've kept an older Mac or any computer this long, it might be worth looking into the value of the machine, and if it's predicted to rise at any point soon. A lot of computers from the early 2000s and before have reached a certain vintage where they are sought after more than others. Perhaps if you keep that first generation MacBook Pro from 2006, or even the Mac spec 2012 unibody machine for a few more years, their value will start to appreciate. 17-inch MacBooks are a good example of this actually. They're getting rarer by the day now, and since no new ones have been made since 2012, their value is likely to continue rising for the foreseeable future. Right, that's all for today. If you enjoy talking old tech and Mac stuff, there's more on the Discord server every single day. Thank you very much for watching, and an even bigger thank you to my supporters on Patreon. Liking and subscribing really helps me out if you enjoyed the video. I'll see you all next week.